The tale began long ago, in the year 1976, back when Bangkok was just beginning to stretch its limbs, when an unassuming patch of land in Bangkok was transformed into Thailand's first amusement park, Happyland. The name promised smiles, laughter, and joy, and for a while, it delivered exactly that. Families flocked to the park, drawn by the glittering lights and the promise of a thrill. Ferris wheels, roller coasters, carousels, all imported straight from Japan, spun endlessly under the tropical sky. Children squealed with delight as they rode the waves of fun. But something dark was lurking beneath the surface, something no one would dare to speak about, yet. It wasn't long after Happyland opened that the first strange occurrences began. Rumors of rides malfunctioning spread quickly, accidents piling up one after another. Parents would clutch their children a little tighter as they walked past certain attractions, sensing an unseen danger in the air. The park's charm began to fade, and with it came the eerie stories that clung to Happyland like a shroud. The laughter of children could be heard echoing through the night, even when the park was closed, and though passers-by swore they heard voices, when they peered into the park, all they could see was darkness. Not a soul in sight. But the locals knew better. They knew what had happened. They knew about the accidents, the children who had fallen from the Ferris wheel, drowned in the boat ride, or been thrown from the roller coasters. Some even whispered about a psychopathic killer who roamed the park, preying on the young and leaving behind nothing but horror in his wake. His victims? Hidden in places where no one would think to look. A shadowy figure, nameless, faceless, but ever-present in the collective imagination of the town. And as the stories grew, so did the fear. The amusement park that had once brought joy now brought only dread. By the year 1979, Happyland had become something else entirely, a haunted shell of its former self. The rides, once shiny and new, now creaked with age, their mechanical groans a distant reminder of better days. Accidents were more frequent, and fewer visitors dared to set foot inside. And then came the incident that sealed Happyland's fate. A young boy, eager for adventure, leaned too far out of the Ferris wheel as it spun, and in a horrifying moment, his head struck the iron frame, severing it clean off. The screams of witnesses echoed through the park, and what had once been a place of laughter became a place of terror. The news spread like wildfire, and the park's reputation crumbled overnight. No amount of compensation or apologies from the owners could bring back the trust of the people. The boy's death marked the beginning of the end for Happyland. One by one, the rides were sold off, the park closed its gates, and the land was left to rot. What remained was not just an empty lot, but a memory, a ghost town of sorts, haunted by the spirits of the children who had died there, still playing on the rides long after the sun had set. But was it really ghosts, or was it something more tangible? Some believed that the stories of hauntings were just that, stories, passed down from one terrified witness to the next. After all, no one had ever provided concrete proof. Yet others were convinced that the park had covered up the darker truths, erasing the evidence of its cursed history to protect its reputation. The CEO of Happyland, in later years, would claim that the closure had nothing to do with the hauntings, the accidents, or the whispers of murder. It was all part of the plan, he said, a business decision to revitalize the area and drive up property values. But even as the land was developed and turned into markets and housing estates, the legend of Happyland refused to die. People still talked about the eerie laughter that could be heard in the dead of night, about the spirits of children who hadn't realized that they'd left the world of the living behind. And so, Happyland became more than just a memory. It became a legend, a story of joy turned to sorrow, of laughter transformed into screams, and of a place where the past refused to rest. It's a story still told today, passed down through generations, just as it was when the park first closed its gates. For some, it's a tale of tragedy. For others, it's a warning. But for everyone who hears it, it's a reminder, sometimes, the happiest places can hide the darkest secrets.